Fight week for my guest tonight, UFC veteran and standout Jimmie Rivera. Jimmy, my man, how you feeling? It's been a while since you've been in there. How you feeling, and how's this camp been?
Camp's been great. I had some extra weeks to train, and I'm feeling good. Just water loaded right now, getting ready for the cut.
How's Team Tiger Schulman doing? I know you have, over the years, Jimmy, you were one of the first guys that made the UFC from, the Tiger Schulman camp, and you guys have more and more guys follow you in there. How's the team feeling? How's everybody doing over there at your other family?
I think everybody's good. Everybody's training. They got some fights coming up. We were supposed to have back-to-back fights, but a lot of things fell out. So I think with everything going on now, you're going to see some of the guys fight more often, some big fights coming up.
Well, listen, this is weird. This is a little bit of an odd situation for you. You're taking a rematch against somebody you fought before, Pedro Munhoz. Now, listen, in your first fight with Pedro, you outstruck him 96-66 in significant strikes. You pretty much had your way with him in the stand-up. Let me ask you this: do you go back and look at that fight, or you don't even want to be bothered because these are both completely different fighters now? What tack do you take? Do you watch the fight a bunch of times, or you ignore it?
No, I watched the fight. I always pay attention to the 35 weight class. So I watch all the fights. I watched that fight, and I watched his last fight was Frankie Edgar, which I thought he actually won, but I guess they saw it another way.
Well, Jimmy, listen. One of the reasons I love watching you fight, not just because, I got to see you fight in person a lot around here in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, but you love to stand up and bang. And looking at the statistics, I mean, you have a takedown defense, according to the UFC, of 92%. So when people do try to take you down, you're usually very successful in keeping the fight standing up. Is that something that you're good at naturally, or is that something that you work on specifically because you want to stand and try to make the fight entertaining and use your hands and kicks to win?
Honestly, it's just something that, as a martial artist, just working on. I don't want to be good at one aspect of the game. I want to be good at all aspects of the fighting game. So just something that I worked on over years so I could be good at it and do well in my fights, upcoming fights.
Right. Jimmy, how do you look at this? You're only 32 years old. You're still young in fight age. Do you think a victory here and then maybe another fight? I know I don't want you to look at past more than one fight at a time, but do you feel that you still have a run in you to the top of the rankings? And because look at the guys, I look at your resume and who you fought, and I mean, you've been the distance with both guys who are fighting the title, fighting for the championship next week. Do you feel there's another run in you left to the top of the rankings?
Yeah, I mean, I think I gave Peter Yan his hardest fight, who's the champ right now. So, of course, there's always a run. It's just, like you said, one fight at a time.
Now, since you've been the distance with both Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan, I'd love to get your take on this championship fight. I don't think anybody sees it as clearly as you because nobody else has really been the distance with both guys. How do you see that fight, and who do you think's going to be leaving the octagon with that belt?
I mean, honestly, if Sterling can get him to the ground, I think Sterling's going to win. But if he can't, Yan can stop his takedowns, I think Yan's going to win. I think that's pretty much clear cut and dry. So it's going to be an interesting fight to see if Yan could stop his takedowns. If not, then Sterling's going to be able to have a field day.
Yeah, looking at the weight class, Jimmy, you guys, I mean, I think the bantamweight weight class is the most stacked weight class in the UFC now. I mean, they have ranked at number 11. I mean, you're 23-4, and you fought the best in the world. So I'm really rooting for you to come out and have a strong performance. Do you think you can get a finish? I mean, when we look at your record, you do have a lot of wins by decision. Do you think, finishing a guy will help you in the rankings?
I mean, I think it always does. Will I get finished? I can't promise that. I mean, Pedro's a tough SOB, and when I did fight him the first time, I threw everything at him, and he kept coming forward. So I'm expecting a war, and I'll try to get the finish if I can.
Of course. Well, listen, Jimmy, fight week, I appreciate you giving me a few minutes. You have any shout-outs or any love you want to give out before we go?
Nah, just thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it, and shout out to my sponsors as Eat Clean Bro and NutriBio supplements and my Team Tiger Showmans.
Once again, Jimmie, the Terror Rivera, best of luck this week, UFC Vegas 20. I appreciate you giving us some time, and we'll talk to you again soon, I hope.
Anytime. Thank you.
Appreciate it.